Viewer discretion advised. Don't try this at home. Langosta here, we're back at the range. We're in the beautiful Mojave, and we're doing the first test that I've seen on YouTube on flesh for ammo. This is a ballistic test to see the performance of different calibers, different projectiles, and it's gonna be amazing. We've got a huge beef shoulder, beef ribs behind, and the question is this caliber load that I made powerful enough to penetrate 8 inches of muscle and then break bone and then hit a vital organ? That's the test. So in order to simulate real world conditions, we're actually looking at flesh, bone, and how it behaves when it gets hit by metal. So we have here is rib bones, and we also have a front shoulder of a cow. We are 21 inches long, 8 inches thick between bone and muscle. So what we're trying to figure out is, can a bullet penetrate the hide, the fat, the muscle, and break bone and still penetrate enough to be able to hit vital organs? That's how you know that a particular projectile is going to be effective in stopping a dangerous game animal. We left all the fat caps on there. We got a tremendous amount of muscle. Like I said, this whole thing is about a little bit over 8 inches. So this is really gonna be a real world test against how tough the ammo that I'm using against this is gonna be and how it's gonna perform. Not a gelatin test, not denim. I don't know about you, but I've never seen a grizzly bear with a denim jacket on. So it's gonna be a very challenging piece of medium to test ballistically the performance of the different calibers that we're gonna use. All right guys, 454 Casull, 220 grain bullet out of a 5-inch X frame Smith & Wesson. Let's see what she does. Now, I'm shooting this out of a 460 Smith & Wesson. You can shoot 45 Colt, you can shoot 454 Casull, and you can shoot 460. But I wanna shoot it out of this gun because it is more representative, because of its shorter barrel, of something that you would be carrying in the field for defense from bears or dangerous game. All right, so let's do one more round and see how we do. All right, here we go. Guys, notice the muzzle rise and the bone fragment coming at me. The 454 Casull hit hard with that Lehigh Defense bullet, sending bone out of the exit wound and the entry wound. Guys, I thought I was getting peppered by the rocks behind me. This is a great load. Oh my God. That was freaking strong. Let's see what we did. Holy mackerel. Right there. That's insane. Woo! Pulverized it. That's insane. It's there. I mean, it's super clear. The bone's totally gone. All right, guys. Now, you're going to give up a little bit of comfort, right? Because this is heavier than the other ones. So let's look back at the wound cavities, because you're going to, as a hunter, as an outside adventurist, you're going to be trading off the weight of your gun versus the power of your protection. So let's look at these impacts and see what's enough, right? There is such a thing as overkill, but the question is, did you have enough gun? Did you have enough gun to penetrate the muscle, break the bone, and stop that animal? That's what we want. And in my opinion, and this is something that a ballistic test doesn't give you, you have to look at the actual tissue damage and evaluate the ballistic performance of your projectile and your caliber. And the question is, did you get a hole about this big from the bone? I say if you got something about this big, you probably have enough gun that you can protect yourself. Anytime you see a hole like this on an exit, you're gonna get enough penetration there'll be enough mass, energy, and projectile coming out of these type holes to damage the organs, whether it's the lung or the heart. But you really need an exit hole out of the rib section that's that big. This is very similar to the performance that I see on game animals from a rifle, right? And you're getting it from a gun. Guys, just as a reminder, this video is not meant to be gory. we are really trying to understand what the ballistic performance is going to be of the different calibers and the different projectiles. This video is 100% educational to educate you, and also for me as the bullet manufacturer, the ammunition manufacturer, to understand the capabilities of a particular round and its shortcomings. Really, we're learning both ways, right? We want to know if something is not going to be strong enough, it's not going to be effective enough, or if it's going to perform the way that we desire it to perform. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to cut all the string off. I'm going to use this dowel. We're going to measure the penetration of some of the projectile hits, and we're going to talk about the different guns and some final thoughts. I also want to share with you some of the things that actually surprised me of this test. And so let's get started. So we're going to cut some, cut this twine off. All right, so this I know for sure was the 454 Casull. And I'm bottoming out, okay? So broke bone and everything. We got a total penetration of 6 3/4 of an inch. 6 3/4 of an inch. Now granted, the muscle layer is a little bit thicker here than it is here, but it's got the same thickness of a fat cap on top of all of it. And that definitely helps stop bullets, right? The fat cap, the fur, those types of things. So let's flip it around and let's see if we can get a little bit better visual on the bullet performance here. Now this is what we haven't seen before because they were tied together, but we could see a tremendous amount of tissue damage. So this is your ribs. I mean, look at that. You could see very clearly that the sections of the Lehigh Defense XP bullets completely eviscerated the bone segments. I mean, it's dunzo. Very sharp, jagged bone. Now the idea again, guys, is we're gonna penetrate the fat and the gristle, and we're gonna break bone, and then the bullet can penetrate hearts and lungs and other vital organs. That would be true ballistic performance, is penetrating all of that muscle and bone and getting to the vital organs. So the reason that penetration is important, if you don't penetrate this, then you cannot get to the hearts and lungs. And that's what stops the animals. An animal, a dangerous game animal, being hit in the brisket, being hit in the rump, will definitely give them a limp. It'll incapacitate them, but it will not terminate the attack. That's what we want. We want to have penetration into the vitals so that the attack is stopped. And the only way you get that is with penetration, with enough force to break bone and get into those vital organs. All right, this jagged bone here, this is what I want to see. I don't want to see the bullet just break a nice even hole in the bone. I want the bone to be completely pulverized. Why? Because the bone becomes shrapnel into the vitals, right? If you just had a nice little even hole, like a little semi-wad cutter type hole, you're only gonna get the damage of the diameter of the bullet. This is a humongous blowout. Look at how that bone is that rib is completely severed, okay? This rib, completely severed. You need this type of damage in order to completely stop the attack. This is basically what you need. I'm going to bring out the guns next, and we're going to talk about the weight to performance of each individual firearm. So these are all the guns we tested, the different calibers. As you can see, they're different sizes, different configurations. Depending on how hard your hike is, what your scenario is, are you fishing in the rivers of Alaska? Are you climbing the mountains of Alaska? Are you hunting in the wilderness, in the Rockies? And then what is the game that you're after? And are you in grizzly country? And are you in a part of grizzly country that you're very likely to run into a major predator? So those are the things that you're weighing. Most people, when considering which is going to be their gun for their trail gun in a dangerous game scenario, is going to be size and weight. Get ready for the hate on the comments, guys. This humongous paperweight. Now, this is a 5-incher, so it's smaller than the other ones you've seen. It is heavy. It is heavy. But I would argue with you that this has a place. If I was fishing on a salmon river in Alaska in the springtime when there are bears coming, when there are bears all over the place, where the likelihood of running into a mama bear and her cubs and getting a charge based on her protecting her cubs. And I want a caliber that will stop for sure any size bear. This in a 454 Casull load. It shot very nice. The recoil was stout, but not out of control. I think that this is going to be very exciting on the future testing to test this under follow-up shots. So how quick can we get the splits? How tight can we get the splits? And how many rounds can we get on target within a quick response period of time? That's going to be the next test. By the way, if you haven't done so already, and if you want to see those videos, please make sure you like and subscribe and comment below. So guys, what do you guys think? Were you swayed in any way from what you saw in the video? I don't know. I've seen a lot of gel presentations, and yeah, sometimes the gels fly off and they break jeans, and you have this dramatic stuff with wood. But to be able to see the bone and the flesh react with the velocity and the bullet configuration, the shape of the bullet, I think that was one of the most dramatic and clear representations for making the case for each individual platform. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, I'm very excited to do this type of testing with rifle rounds. I've loaded all sorts of common hunting rifle calibers, and I want to do this test on those calibers. I really need your support. I need you to like and subscribe so that we can get the revenue here and be able to support this testing. We've got a whole series of rifle testing on flesh and bone, and it's really meant for you to learn and understand what is really going to happen to your game animal or a dangerous game situation when you use your firearm in self-defense. My name is Langosta, reminding you to like and subscribe to Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Remember, shoot straight.